Let me know when we're live.
Live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dare Disagree, your weekly episodic podcast, where we hook you guys up with all that good stuff you guys want to know about. I'll be not your host today, Jonathan Esther out of California.
You are indeed one of the hosts. This is Alone in the Dark in Colorado.
That's the host.
I'm not a host.
That's a de facto host slash guest, Slow Chemical, and that'll be the lineup for today.
So,
Go ahead.
Here's my topic, okay? And like you told me to, I've been watching that Black Mirror show, which is a pretty interesting show. It's kind of like a reboot of Twilight Zone.
Yep.
Every time I saw it pop up on there, I thought it was like a series type show, which is why I avoided it. But it's pretty good. But one of the episodes is about punishing a criminal who did something fairly fucking awful. Okay? And that's one of the reasons I wanted freaking Slow Chemical on the shows, because I remember when we had that discussion, that show about pedophiles back in the day. You know, he was talking about fuck those people. They need to be fucking. You know, he had a pretty detailed description of what punishment they should receive, and if I remember correctly, it involved a lot of bleeding. You know. But my question is how far is too far? You know, this thing, you know, when we're dealing with some of the scummiest people, you know, people that fucking hurt kids, you know, that's usually the ones that gets people's fucking blood going. People who hurt fucking women, people who fucking hurt mass amounts of people, you know, like these goddamn suicide bombers going off around the fucking world and shit like that. You know, if you go into the comment sections, a lot of these news reports, man, there's some people in there just describing the most vicious tortures that they want to. You'll have fucking Linda, fucking from Ontario, you know, just talking about, man, what we should do is cut this guy's balls off and then throw his balls in a fire and then make him eat the ashes while we stab him in the chest. Like, god damn. Like, people, you know, normal people just suddenly go fucking, you know, what's that guy's name? Made all the Saw movies. They go like Saw fucking goddamn vicious the moment they get the chance to do it for a way of justice, you know. And my thing is I don't think most people in the world, probably at least a good 80, maybe even 90% of people, can control someone's life, like be in the power over someone responsibly. It's a really limited thing, you know, like who's able to handle that fucking power, and it's a really low amount of people. Like, have you guys seen examples, like both of you fucking grew up in Baltimore, of people who get like a little bit of power over people and go fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like, and I think we were talking about with what's his name, Cold Conscience, about, and you were just talking about it online a little bit ago, about the difference it is, even in Baltimore, you know, him being a young black guy, when he gets pulled over by a black police officer, what's your guys' experience? Is it usually better or worse being pulled over by a black cop than a white cop?
Me personally, I only got pulled over by white cops in Baltimore, which was really weird. Mostly white cops.
Yeah.
And it wasn't negative. It was fairly pleasant. I mean, you're getting pulled over by a cop. I will admit though, I don't know what it is about me. I actually have really good experiences with cop. The most negative experience I had with a cop was in Virginia, and they were just really kind of blunt and curt about pulling me over and giving me the ticket. But aside from that, I'm usually cool with cops. So I'm a bad guy to ask that question too. That would probably be a more Slow Chemical or a Cold Conscience question.
Yeah. Cold Conscience.
Slow Chemical, what's your experience with cops?
Usually you get pulled over by black cops. They call you a little. I'm not gonna. I don't use the word on my show, so I won't use it on your show. Um, what you doing, little N-word? You know, you causing trouble, smoking that weed, N-word. I've always had pleasant interactions with white cops, and I say that because there's been several times I've been caught in compromising positions where I should have been really put in jail or whatever. Like I remember one time, um, I'll just say it. Renee and me were having sex in the car, and we were actually at Laurel Lakes, and we knew we shouldn't have been doing it there, but like I can't remember why we didn't get a hotel room. I think that like they were all. I want to say it was like it had to be like 4th of July weekend or something. And I remember like the cop just came out of nowhere, whoop, whoop, you know, white cop or whatever, and I got dressed, and she was kind of embarrassed or whatever, and the white cop kind of came to the car and was just like. He gave me a look like, you know, matter of fact, let me take my camera off so if you on YouTube to see. He gave me that look like, you know you're not going to be doing this, right? And so I said, yeah, I know. And I said, you know, you got to do what you got to do. I'm completely wrong. He's like, I don't want to do that. He was like, well, I'm going to tell you to do this. I'm not going to give you a ticket. I'm not going to give you a warning. I've never seen you here before. I don't know you. Just let me see your ID. It took like 10 minutes. He said, you're good. Please don't do this again because no one's going to be as nice as me. He got in the car and left. I've had that with several white cops. The only time I've ever been harassed is by African-American cops. One African-American cop, I was driving to Renee's house. He pulls me over. I'm in my mom's car at the time. He pulls me over. He sees my ID. He sees my mom's picture in my cell phone. He doesn't believe me. Then when I tell him, he's like, where you going? It was like 3 in the morning. He's like, where you going? I said, I'm going to my girlfriend's house. He was like, you know, you an ugly little N-word. There's no way you got a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? And before I know it, no lie, before I know it, first it starts with just him. Before I know it, it's 20 cops, literally 20 cops outside, like right behind me. And so I was texting Renee at the time because I'm like, can you come get my car? Because my mom's car, because I'm about to go to jail. And she was like, for what? I was like, he just pulled me over. I've never seen that cop before. This was a black cop. I've never seen that cop before. Now I remember it was so funny because those white cops, it was him and a bunch of white cops, and the white cops were like, why are we here? And I heard them asking him like, why are we here? He said, I don't know. I just didn't trust him. He had no reason to not trust me. Because here's the funny thing. It was 3 in the morning, and this is how I was going to get laid, dude. I had sweatpants on. I pulled a cold conscience. I had sweatpants on, no underwear. You know what I'm saying? I had a wife beater on. I was barely clothed. I didn't even have any socks on my feet. You know what I'm saying? I was in sandals. You dig what I'm saying? So like, yeah. He had no reason to feel threatened whatsoever, and I gave him all my information. I told him whose car it was. I told him why I was out, and I was literally right across the street. The only reason I got off is because Renee's mom was like, we can't have him going to jail tonight. You know, because she came out there. If Renee would came out there by herself, I would have been screwed. And I really do believe that because Renee was a fire starter. But Renee's mom came out there and pretty much saved me from going to jail for absolutely no reason. For every cop I've had interaction with black cop, that's from Louisiana to Baltimore, wherever. Every black cop I've ever gotten in, pulled over. Here's the funny thing. I've only had one ticket my whole life. There's been no other reasons to ever. I've only had one ticket my whole entire life. That came from a black cop. I've never had any problems not going with white cops. They've always been pleasant. Matter of fact, they've always let me off the hook, to be honest with you. But the black cops, they see me, the first thing they say is the N-word, and I don't know. But once again, though, I have a double standard with me because I'm light-skinned. So a lot of people don't like light-skinned guys anyway. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, but it's just that's a real thing. So
it's actually funny. I just thought about it. The only ticket I've ever had that was a legitimate ticket. Like I've had fix-it tickets and stuff like that, but the only legitimate ticket like speeding I've ever had was from a black cop.
Yeah, and you know the reason I ask is because I have noticed that. Like even when I was a younger kid, like if I was riding around with my friends and he was black and he got pulled over by another black cop, it was immediately aggressive. You know what I mean? And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? You know? And something I noticed too is it got even worse if the officer who's actually in charge of decided to write the ticket or not was black and the other cop there was white. You know, like in California at least, it might be mostly nationwide, but in California it's pretty much after a certain hour, like after it got dark out, every cop car had 2 cops in it. Yeah, that was like the rule. You know, like once it's nighttime, there's 2 cops to a car instead of just 1. And whenever I saw like my friends get pulled over by a black cop who had a white cop with him, it was like 100% you're getting a fucking ticket, dude. Like even if you don't deserve it, it's gonna fucking happen. You know, that's why it kind of amused me when we were having the discussion earlier. You know, like Jonathan Esther shared a video of a freaking, you know, officer actually handling himself really well. You know, he's in a dangerous position. Somebody's threatening him with a fucking, what was it, a knife, right?
Yeah, it was a knife. It was, I mean, every excuse in the world to kill the guy.
Yeah, like this cop had, you know, if he had shot that guy, even the most cop-hating person would probably be like, yeah, that's pretty justifiable. You know, but the cop did it.
I was like, kill me. I'm going to kill you. Kill me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he was walking aggressively towards us. So, I mean, if I was the cop, I'd have killed him.
Yeah, so amazing work by that police officer. But somebody responded on there, like, would you have shared this if it was a black cop? I was like, I think this guy doesn't understand that just because Jonathan Esther's black, that he doesn't just go, oh yeah, you know, I'm pulled over by a black cop. It's cool, we're buddies, man. I know I'm gonna be let off. That's the complete opposite of what's gonna actually happen. You know?
It's funny because the extent of that conversation, and it's still an ongoing conversation right now with me and the guy, but immediately he did go to that. Like, I'm curious, if this was a black cop, would you have shared that? And I kind of went, I'll be honest with you, man, that was never the intent of the post. Like, I think you're misunderstanding. I don't care what race the cop is in this. I'm more focused on the perpetrator. And I was like, I even started this video by telling you this cop did an amazing job. This cop did the right thing. My issue with the comment, with the post was, I wish to see more videos of cops giving minorities in general that amount of chances. Like, we had this whole conversation when the whole, what was it, Michael Brown? I'm starting to forget their names. There's so many of them now. The kid with the cigarettes.
Oh, shit, I know who you're talking about.
I want to say that's Brown. I don't know if Brown.
Yeah, that's Mike Brown. That's Mike Brown.
Yeah. Mike Brown, the whole I can't breathe thing is like.
No, I'm sorry. That's Eric Garner. I thought Mike Brown stole a cigar or something like that.
Got killed by the security guard, right?
No, he got killed. Mike Brown got killed. No, they both got killed by cops. But Mike Brown stole like a cigar or something, and got killed later, which was a bunch of people were bitching about.
Exactly.
He got killed over a cigar. Eric Garner was selling loose cigarettes and got freaking choked to death in New York.
Yeah, in both of those instances, I remember when I was having conversations with people, and people would say, well, that guy shouldn't have been aggressive towards the cop. And back then, I would tell them, look, you're absolutely right. Dude shouldn't have been aggressive. But again, I don't think loose cigarettes should be a death sentence, no matter how aggressive the guy is. And I remember the video I used to counteract it. And I would tell people, I was like, you know what? You might be right. You might be 100% right. But for me to feel comfortable enough to say you're right, this is all you need to do. And there's a video. It's hard to find nowadays, but you can find it if you dig into the internet. There's a video of a drunk white guy with a shotgun loaded threatening cops. And he's loudly threatening cops, telling them if they come close, he's going to kill them and he's got a gun. And the cop, God bless his soul, was amazing. White cop walked up to him, talked him down, calmed him, sat down and had a whole conversation with him, took a confrontation that could have gone extremely violent and completely turned it around. Amazing job by that cop. That cop deserves a fucking medal. And I told him, do me a favor, man. Find me a video with a black guy with a weapon being antagonistic that even comes close to this kind of resolution. Yeah. That's all. I was like, all you need to do is find me that video. And I was like, in this day and age, we have so many videos of this shit going on. Anytime anything even happens, especially in black neighborhoods with cops, there are like 10 people whipping out cameras. When those kids were getting thrown around at that fucking pool by the cops, there were like 5 different aspect videos from 5 different people. We have everybody recording everything. Just find me one video of this incident, because I can find you a bunch of white people having this kind of thing, like the one I just posted with the white guy threatening with a knife. This is not a knock on the cops at all. It's a knock on the perception of how cops treat minorities. Like, I just want to see more of the positive videos. Like, one of my favorite videos these days is the one with the white cop who comes to a noise complaint in a black neighborhood. And a bunch of kids are playing basketball. And instead of him yelling or telling the kids to go out, he ends up playing. He plays a little bit with them, and then he tells them, hey, guys, just keep it down. The neighbors are gone. And then he's like, I'm going to come back with backup. He shows up the next day. Somehow the video went viral, so he came back the next day with Shaq. Fucking amazing video. Amazing video. Positive spin on cops. Cop doing the right thing. Handling a social issue with minorities in a brilliant manner. That guy deserves a raise. I just want to see more of those videos when the violence occurs. That's all I was saying. And this guy got on this whole tangent of like, could you find a post of you posting with like a black cop shooting a white guy or a black cop shooting a black guy? And I was like, never was my point here. Not my. Look, I don't think I'll find it, just like I won't find a video of a black cop shooting a black guy on my post. I don't know if I never paid attention to the cop's race.
Yeah. Because we've done this cop thing a couple times, but the important thing that I was trying to get on was people being in control of other people, whether legally or not, and the legal aspect is the one I was looking at, because it's crazy. And if you look through a bunch of, like, have we all heard of the Stanford prison experiment? Nobody?
No.
It was pretty interesting, okay? Like, what the guy did is he wanted to make, like, a mock jail using students from Stanford, right? And Stanford's one of the top-rated schools. You're already a kind of upper-class upbringing, or at least if you're not upper-class, you've worked your ass off to get into Stanford. So you've been studying and shit like that. Or maybe your parents are just famous and Stanford fucking accepted you. Something along those fucking lines, right? Well, what he did is he just took, a bunch of students signed up for it, and I don't remember exactly how many total students were in there, but he just took them randomly, sorted them out, this person, this group, this person, this group, made guards, made criminals, right? And they actually went out with police officers, like real police officers, arrested these kids, like out in town or out of their home, this and that, went through the whole arrest thing, brought them back to this fucking prison that they had built to do this, and put them in there and just had the other kids guard them. Mind you, everybody knew these kids, number one, didn't do anything. Number two, the guards were, just random fucking selections too. There was no difference between the two fucking individuals. That thing, if I remember right, it was supposed to last like, I can't remember the exact times, but let's say it's supposed to last like 2 months. Fucking thing lasted like 11 days, and the guy had to shut it down because the violence just started immediately. There was like guards fucking harassing prisoners. There was fucking like physical shit going on. They were like finding ways to torture the. Why'd they know they're in the middle of a fucking study? Why'd they know there's freaking people above them, watching over there and seeing what's happening? And, the guy had to shut it down because the thing went fucking crazy right away. And as I said, these are not just, this isn't even just random fucking people from off the street. These are all Stanford students. You got to work pretty hard or be from a pretty fucking wealthy family to get into Stanford, So it's crazy how quick that shit fell apart. And, again, random people. There was another experiment, this one I can't remember the name of, but what they did is they took one person, okay, put them in the room where they couldn't see each other, right? So there's two people in two separate rooms. One of them's the tester, and one's the testee, the person taking the test. And this guy has like a knob, like you've probably seen it, something similar, like on crazy fucking videos where people are torturing other people, like that could turn up, crank it up. And so they tell him, hey, this person's answering these questions, that's another person like you, just somebody being tested. Every time they get a question wrong, ramp this thing up. So fucking 50 questions, he gets question number 3 wrong, number 1, press the button, right? And the guy on the other side would start screaming, like he's being hurt. Each time you leveled it up, the guy in the other room is just fucking getting worse and worse and worse, okay? Up until the point where, like, at 10, the person in the other room just went completely silent. Like, this thing just killed him or knocked him the fuck out. when these people were put in that room by themselves, the testers, it turned out there was no testee. It was actually an actor over there pretending the whole fucking thing. Okay? They were not hooked up to anything. But the tester, if they were left in charge of it, they would just get to like level, 5, 6, where this person's really screaming, really in pain, and stop. Like, no, fuck this. I'm not doing anything else. Then they changed it a little bit where they had another person, like a fucking person like with a clipboard and a white fucking suit, just saying, okay, do this. When they did that, it was something like 40% of people went all the way to kill this fucking person. Just by having a person with a fucking clipboard in the room, So it's crazy to me. Me and Jonathan Esther have a little bit of experience with this because when we were in Iraq, we were detainee guards. My first deployment to Iraq, they made us both go become detainee guards, which is really interesting. Made us see a whole lot more of the country than we would have otherwise.
And talk to the people a lot more. That was interesting too.
Yeah. But one of the crazy things to me is every now and then we would get changed. Usually it was just us, but every now and then, like fucking one of us would have something to do, so we would have another guard in there. And whenever that, like after a while, when we first did that, I mean, we were fucking silent. We weren't giving this guy any information. This person's blindfolded and fucking, tied up. We're not going to give this person any information. Deadly fucking serious. I'd say after 2 weeks, we would have a fucking prisoner there, and we were just shooting the fucking shit, the whole goddamn time, right? It got calm, But then I would get another guard in there, somebody else, and it would happen. Like, I remember one guy specifically, a really quiet, kid, not in it ever in any. I never saw him get violent, never even saw him get in a loud fucking argument with anybody. We're rolling down the road, we're just fucking sitting there shooting the shit. We got a freaking detainee or two with us, and all of a sudden he's like, man, I think I'm going to put my cigarette out on this guy. Oh, what? This prisoner had been the last 20 minutes just sitting there quiet, doing nothing. Yeah, man, fuck that guy. I'm like, no, you're absolutely not going to do that, number one. And why the fuck would you even want to? Man, these fuckers are planting IEDs. They're killing other fucking military guys, man. Fuck these people. Like, okay, people are doing that, but we don't know about this guy. Like, at least 80, 90% of the detainees we brought in, the next day we were driving out to go drop them back off in town. Okay, the people who are deciding to arrest these people are Marine infantrymen. Okay, I love these guys, but not critical thinking is not one of their fucking strong suits. Okay.
In all fairness, when you test the worst, you probably get infantry.
Yeah. So this was just crazy to me. And, here was a pretty... I would have never... Somebody said, who do you think would be the first one to torture detainees in there? That kid would have been at the bottom of the fucking list. And here he is, 20 minutes into his first time as a detainee guard, wanting to put his cigarette out on somebody.
I still remember the worst one that I ever saw with you was the kid that wanted to beat up the detainee that was tied up.
Yeah.
Beat him up until we had to stop him and go, you know what? No. You can beat him up, but let's untie him and give him a fighting chance. Then you go, and all of a sudden this guy was just calm and relaxed.
And the funny part about that is Iraqis, and it probably is a nutrition issue out there, but for the most part, they are way smaller than your average American. And I'm not even just talking about fat people in the U.S. Okay, I'm just if you saw a group of Iraqis running around that almost look like high school students. They're just small. They're a couple inches shorter than your average American. They're probably like kicking around 130, 145 pounds. They're little people. But the moment we just said, okay, and we weren't really going to do it. Obviously, I'm not going to have a fucking fist fight in the back of a truck. But that was just a test. Yeah, let's untie him. Then you could beat his ass down. Oh, fuck you guys, man. What? That's what changed your mind? A 135-pound Iraqi being untied, being able to defend himself? Now you're fucking no good? No, not going to do that shit anymore? So that's just what's crazy to me. And it looks like, and you know what scares me the most, okay, is because for most of us, it doesn't fucking matter. If I can't handle controlling anybody's life, well, I'm not a fucking prison guard. I'm not a cop. You know,
Yeah.
that shit doesn't matter until you think about kids. That's the part that scares me the most because you're getting these random fucking people with no skill set other than not knowing how to pull out of a fucking vagina. A fucking kid who they get to decide what punishments these kids get. They get to decide how long they're grounded. They get, I mean, it's legal to beat your to the limit. Most of the U.S., you can hit your kid if you fucking want to. You can be in front of a cop, smack the shit out of your kid. You're fine. You know?
It's hilarious you said that because right now in my life, I know two people, one of them who has the kid now, who said the following words to me, which I proceeded to go, no, that's a terrible idea. They looked at me and they were like, I really want a kid because it'll make me finally settle down and fix my life. And I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. If a kid is if that responsibility is what you need, if you can't do it right now without it, no, you're not ready for a kid. You're nowhere near ready for it. One of them ended up getting the kid, and I've cut contacts with them because I was like, I'm not ready for the tragedy that this might end up being. I'm not ready to hear it. I'm waiting any day to hear all the terrible stuff. The other one hasn't had the kid yet. God willing, he doesn't, because he's not ready for a kid.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous. And I've heard people say that about marriage too. We're having a rough time right now. We're constantly at each other's throat. So I think if we get married, it's going to get all better. No, that's the opposite of what's going to happen. I don't think me and my wife even had an argument when we were dating. We knew each other probably two and a half years before we got married. Not a fucking argument out of either one of us. Now there is. Now that we're married 10 years, Jesus Christ. I hear this woman breathing, I want to fucking choke her,
Real romance right there.
That's just crazy to me, man. That's why, we've talked about before, I would love to make every man, woman, sterile until at a certain time you could go past like a test, the same test people have to take to adopt a kid. Okay? Are you mentally healthy? Are you physically okay? We don't need to be passing down all this crazy fucking bullshit to the kids. And can you fucking afford a kid? Now, they say a kid costs around $400,000 throughout the course of its life. So, like your buddy right there, he's like, man, I'm working at fucking Subway as a sandwich artist, so I can't really afford a Lamborghini right now, but I'm going to go buy it and they'll make me afford it. What? No, that's not how this shit's going to work at all,
Now, that's not saying I haven't seen some people get into that pinch of having a kid and rise to the occasion. It's just I'm not willing to gamble a kid on that person rising to the occasion.
Yeah, a rare person.
A great example of a person we know who didn't necessarily have a family in mind and then became an amazing family man is Puppet Master. Puppet Master is a guy we've known for a long time who, as far as I know, that wasn't his plan. His plan wasn't to have a family and be settled in. But once he was in it, he became an amazing human being and probably one of the best fathers I know.
To be fair to him, though, me and his wife didn't could talk to him about it before we decided to have kids, So he really didn't see that shit coming.
Fair enough. But he rose anyway to raise that child.
Yeah. And what's kind of funny? While we're talking about people having control, there's actually like historical shit of where this went down that like affected worldwide politics. Like during the Spanish-American War, when we went to war with Spain and Cuba, one of the reasons we used is these fucking Spanish people are torturing the Cuban populace. Here's all these horrible things that are happening to the Cuban civilians, and they weren't wrong. Like Cuba or Spain had to keep increasing the amount of force they were using to control the fucking population. Well, as you increase the force, the odds of you accidentally killing some civilians increase with it. Almost exponentially. Even if you don't mean to, even if you're like, we're not going to fucking kill a single innocent civilian, we need to make sure we do that. If you're using enough force, some people are going to fucking go down. That's just how it works, So we went in there and went to war with fucking Spain, kicking them out of there, right? Immediately afterwards, we had the Philippine-American War. which was it was a relatively small event that most people, I don't even think it appears in most history classes. But another issue is while we were over there, we had to start using force to control the Filipino population, and immediately civilians started dying. The same thing we were bitching about Spain doing in Cuba, just maybe a couple years later, might even be even quicker than that. We're in the Philippines, same exact shit's happened. They estimate, I think, 20,000 Filipino combatants died, okay, compared to 4,200 Americans. As many as 200,000 Filipino civilians died over there.
Damn.
That's coming right off us bitching about somebody else not controlling the population right and hurting people. Immediately, when we got put in the same position, that shit happened. And I don't think, it's hard to tell, Americans still have a problem with race relations to this day, let alone back in this fucking early 19th century bullshit. But I bet you the U.S. was all, hey, we need to prove that we didn't, that Spain was a bunch of fucking bastards over here, so we need to take care of this. And immediately putting all these Americans in control of the Filipino lives resulted in 220,000 deaths. It's just, and you can go through history seeing that shit all the fucking time. You put a bunch of fucking people, they might be great soldiers, but you put them in control of some people, and fucking the torture and the death just come right along with it. And
so give us. I was gonna say, so give us a quick outro. What would be your outro if you had to wrap all this up in a nutshell?
Well, here's what I would do. Okay. If this is just guessing that this would work, I don't have any proof that this would work, but guessing. Number one, in the U.S., we got to figure out how to reduce our fucking prison population. There's no reason we should have the highest rate of incarceration in the world. It's fucking crazy, So we got to reduce that shit. And a lot of things that would help is what gets you arrested and what doesn't. Like in the Eric Gardner case, ridiculous that guy got choked to death. But look back a little bit, and why the fuck is selling loose cigarettes a arrestable offense anyways? That guy should have at most got a ticket. Okay, I understand there's a big, with the taxes, shit like that, nobody comes after your ass like the IRS does. Okay? So I understand there's probably a legitimate reason to banning the sale of loose cigarettes. I find it hard. He apparently, nobody said he stole that shit. So why can I go buy a pack of cigarettes, but it's illegal for me to sell it to somebody else? There's a problem there. But at the very end, why the living shit should it be an arrestable offense? He should have got a fucking ticket that he had to pay over the internet. What's next? Are we going to make illegal parking? You could get arrested for that shit too? I walk outside, my parking meter's expired, I'm getting thrown against a fucking car? That's crazy to me. Okay? But number two is, and I think I'd have to look up these numbers to prove it, but if you look at the higher paying police forces, like California Highway Patrol, there's a couple other ones where compared to where they're living, they're making really good money. Like NYPD makes good money, but then you have to live in New York. That's not fucking cheap living, But if you look at where the police agencies are higher paying, there's a lot less issues with these abuses. Because you're not getting, there's that running joke that these cops are like fucking the kids who were bullied in high school. Now they want to be cops and bully other people. Well, if you're paying $120,000 a year, and that's probably extreme, but let's say you're paying $120,000 a year, that's going to be a competitive fucking market. If you're a cop, you're not going to fuck around with losing that goddamn job. You can sit here, man, I could strangle this black guy right now, or I could keep my job and just hand him a ticket. You're probably going to fucking hand him a ticket. So
it's funny.
In the South, we had a lot of issues with the abuses by police officers. Like the Chattanooga Police Department went through this whole fucking upheaval while I was there. Even the chief of police got fucking fired, right? But they were paid like shit. Like they were making $14 an hour, which for a job where you're risking your fucking life, that's ridiculous. Crank up that pay. Now you got the cream of the crop in your fucking area. I want it to be cops, and then you're probably going to get this reduced by a whole lot. Go ahead, my bad.
Funny part, no, it's fine. Funny part about that is, I was just saying something along the same lines, but on a different tangent. Not the money part, but I was also saying local people should be local cops. I've never understood the argument that people say, which is if you bring local cops, there's a higher chance of corruption. Yeah, but there's a higher chance of corruption if it's further cops too, because they have no stay in the area. They can just be corrupt and then go back to their area where they feel safe. So I never understood when you say local cops will be corrupt. I would think if you have local cops, let's say, okay, there's a slightly higher risk of them being corrupt because they know the local populace, which I'm not going to be naive and say there isn't. There might be. But the flip side of that is now you have cops that know the local area and the local people know them. They live in the local area and the local people know them. So they have a little more say and a little more influence in the area, not just on duty, but off duty too, because they're still hanging out with the constituents.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I always felt.
It was because I didn't realize that was a very big issue until Cold Conscience was talking about it. Like he was saying, I think he said the majority of Baltimore PD is not from Baltimore. They don't live in Baltimore either. They're all like dotted around the fucking area. Nobody wants to live, or nobody that lives in there could go. He even thought that was maybe a factor in him not getting the job there because he lived there, as a lifelong fucking Baltimorean. But yeah, that does seem strange to me because a lot of, I've worked a couple federal jobs and a lot of them required you to live in the area you were working in. Like I remember one job I picked up, it was literally like the border of the county that I was supposed to be in was like 3 or 4 houses down that would have disqualified me from working there. So I don't know why they are so up. And maybe they have a reason, but I would like to see this reason proven rather than it's just a guess by somebody going, oh, local cops might get might let their buddies off and stuff like that. Well, can you prove this? Have we seen this? Is there any studies backing this up? Where does this shit come from? Instead of it just being somebody spitballing ideas.
I'm right there with you. All right, that settles that, I think. Unless you have anything else to add, Mr. Slow Chemical?
No.
Yeah, I figured that. All right, that settles that. Now, I was originally going to let Alone in the Dark move on to his evolution topic, which I have an interesting little side anecdote about it. But I was hoping we could switch gears to talk a little bit about comic books since we have Mr. Slow Chemical on. I wasn't going to do anything ignorant, man. That look on your face. He's looking at me like, here we go. This is why I don't like black people.
Yeah, I have so many more reasons.
I was just going to have a talk about comic books. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, who have been living under a rock, Civil War Captain America is about a month away now. And so far, Marvel has been batting 100. Even when they're losing, they're batting 100 right now because DC practically shit the bed. Now, for those that don't know about DC, our DC conversation, you can go look at Why Repent, I'ma Do It Again on Spotify, YouTube, and all available social medias. We had a whole conversation about it. Lots of spoilers, forewarning you. But I think we covered the topic pretty thoroughly there, which I'm going to summarize into DC needs to get their shit together. But moving on to something more positive, I have a question for Slow Chemical. Recently, they announced that a couple of characters from the Netflix shows are going to be in Marvel Civil War, which means Phase 3 is going to integrate the Netflix characters. They've already integrated the TV characters. They've been in since the very beginning. And you had a very interesting theory about it. And this is more for the people before I get into your opinion about it, Slow Chemical. For those that don't know, the TV shows that Marvel has released on Netflix are Daredevil and Jessica Jones. They're the beginning of a whole pitch to lead to a miniseries called The Defenders. So they have 2 more shows to release, which are Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and those people become the Defenders. And in the comic books, the person that makes the Defenders come as a team is called Doctor Strange, the movie of which will be out later on this year or early next year, I don't remember anymore, featuring Benedict Cumberbatch. So Mr. Slow Chemical made a call, a wise baseball, like freaking wisdom pitch of the coach kind of thing, and called that Doctor Strange will probably be the jumping off point for linking all the Netflix properties to the Defenders, to all the Netflix properties to the Marvel Universe and the Marvel movie. So I had a question for Slow Chemical, which is, now that we have that general idea, Civil War is going to clarify a lot of stuff. We'll get to know exactly what Spider-Man's role is in all of this, yada, yada, yada. One, what do you think Infinity Wars is going to be about? Because that's ultimately where all these movies are leading to, is towards the Infinity Wars. And 2, do you think there's any way that DC can right the ship to get at least Marvel-level success? Because I got some opinions, but I'm really curious about what you think, Slow Chemical, and Alone in the Dark, because you have an outsider's perspective.
Well, the second question is kind of like a trap question, because you never want to tell a company that has billions of dollars they have no chance. If you have money, you can always make a chance with anything. Let's just be honest. Like, that's why people like Dr. Phil still have a show, because he has tons of money to throw at, sponsorships and everything like that. Even though if you listen to 1 minute of what he has to say, you really just want to strangle him. But it's one of those things where I'm not gonna sit here and tell somebody they don't have a chance. The biggest thing I just take from Marvel and DC, which I don't think DC really learns, is that I think I said this last week. People Marvel has not had the revolving door of quote unquote bookers. Like, Kevin Feige has been there since the beginning, and he's seen what works and what doesn't work. When you talked about DC people, it's a revolving door of who's been in there, 1, and 2. Then you have people like Ryan Reynolds, who played the Green Lantern. I never seen that movie. I know it's horrible, but now he's officially a part of the Marvel team. He's not going back to DC. But I mean, it's like one of those things where you just have that revolving door, and the only thing that's really stable right now is the thing that no one really wanted, which is ironic, is Ben Affleck. And the thing is, I just found out the other day he's only signed on for the Justice League 1 and Justice League 2 movies. So like, they had to pay him beyond his quota to get him in the Suicide movie, which is just a cameo, which is amazing to me that he did what Robert Downey did and bet on himself, and now this guy's gonna make billions of dollars off of Batman because he's the best thing they got going now, which I salute you. Don't get me, I salute you even more because your ex-wife now is hot and I want in. But they have a chance. If they keep going with the direction of Ben Affleck and change some things up, they have a chance. The problem is, I don't know where this is ultimately going. See, at least here's the thing: when you saw the first Iron Man and you see Nick Fury come out at the end of that first movie, I remember being in that movie theater. I remember the feeling, and this is gonna be a bad comparison, but you guys are gonna get what I'm saying. I remember exactly where I was at 9/11. I was on a military base. I remember the shock and the awe feeling that it was, like the feeling of disbelief. You switch that to the Marvel movie when Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson walks out. People were walking out and they stopped. I remember they stood and everybody was just staring. Then you had the Marvel kids like drooling, grabbing themselves, trying to play like pocket pool. It's like, oh my God, that's Nick Fury. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. People were going crazy about it. Like, it's one of those things where DC doesn't have that. I feel like DC just, prime example, all the things you and I have talked about, Jonathan Nestor, it's funny because we've had more spoilers on the Batman Superman movie. You and I talk about Civil War, we have nothing but our own speculation. But I told you months ago that sequence of Batman's being unmasked was a dream sequence. I told you that months ago. And you were like, think so? And I was like, yeah. And if anybody knows me, knows I hate being on the internet. It wasn't that hard to find out that was a dream sequence. I literally went on to one of my websites. Oh, spoilers. Cool, I'll read because I don't care. That was it. One of the most unscientific people just found the spoiler that easy. That's the problem. I know my old job. I went on the set of Civil War to drop off liquor for their after shoot party, right? I had to sign an NDA just to get on set. And then when I was talking to Chris Evans, he said, "Dude, I'll sign whatever you want. But if you walk out of here with the signature, they're gonna take it, and you'll probably get fired from your job." I can't. Fair enough. But I respect that though. You know what I'm saying? Like we have nothing but speculation here. So can they do it? Yeah. But will they? I mean, come on. It's like asking me if Cole Conscious, because I don't know if I showed Alone in the Dark the picture of the girl he was talking to. I told Cole Conscious that, dude, the chances of you keeping her by the time me and Alone in the Dark and his family get out there are 0%. I told him that before, man. And guess what happened? 2 days later, zip, nothing. So yeah, dude, it's always a chance. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not. So yeah, but I mean, but the first question is, where do I think it's going? I don't know where it's going. I have no clue. I mean, that theory I threw out to you earlier today, I legitimately just came up with that only because we haven't seen certain Infinity Stones. So I figured, hey, you know, you can make Bucky, Captain America, kill Steve Rogers until you get his, because if I'm not mistaken, this is his last contracted movie for Marvel.
For now, as far as we know.
Exactly. So the only thing you really have to do is bring him back for the second Infinity Wars, use the Soul Stone, and bring him back, and then because no matter what, they've only brought so many characters to life, quote unquote, that you can't just kill off all the good guys. Because they know if we put it like this, if you walk into and I think Alone in the Dark, I appreciate this as well. If you walk into the movie and Infinity Wars is going to be about a total of about 5 hours between both movies, right? You walk into that second movie and they kill Thanos with 5 Marvel characters. I think everybody would be like, no, it's waste of time. It's not believable. Especially since we already know, well, us in the comic book world know, that they just recently killed their first Watcher ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And Thanos has never been killed.
Fantastic storyline too. Fantastic one.
Yeah, and Thanos has never been killed. So obviously they're gonna have to obliterate this guy. But I'm thinking what they're gonna have to do is everybody from Loki to, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody's got to converge on this wherever they are, fight and kill him. But as far as where it's going, dude, I gotta be honest with you, I have no clue. Like you said, Civil War will answer a lot of questions, but I guarantee you, within the last 30 minutes of that movie, it's gonna make everybody mad because it's gonna ask so many other questions. So I guarantee that's what's gonna happen. Within the first 2 hours, Phase 2 will be cleaned up. You're gonna be like, yeah, you're gonna be fulfilled. You're like, yes, great movie. Last 30 minutes, I hate Marvel. I guarantee it's gonna happen.
And we'll be right back on Why Pretend and Dare Disagree talking about it. Just like, what are they going to do next?
You hear me complaining.
I know you're not the biggest comic book, but you've had your share, so you have a good knowledge of the stuff. What do you think? So again, question 1, do you have any idea where the Marvel movies are going? And question 2, do you have any theories on how DC can right the ship? If you even think DC is fucking it up.
You know, I think my issue is that DC doesn't even seem to understand where they are going wrong. You know, like, and we bitched about it before, or at least I did, about Hollywood just not really using the resources at their disposal to figure out what they're doing wrong. It's almost like there's people out there who are just like, man, I'm a genius. I know what these fucking people want. I've been doing this for 30 years. Well, you know what? Times have changed in this last 30 years you've been doing it. Fucking, you're wrong now. You know, you may have been making amazing shit back then, but the fucking consumer has changed what they want. Because for a long time, and I give this as credit to certain shows, practically every movie would fit in a certain genre of like maybe 10 different fucking storylines. Okay, your romantic movie, these two are going to meet, they're going to hate each other for a while, and then they're going to realize that they're fucking in love with each other, go through some adversity, and bam, they're together, right? It just happens all the time.
Stories all this time.
Superhero movies, he's going to be super powerful. He's going to meet something that just fucking beats his ass back, making it look like he's going to lose, and then bam, he's going to triumph at the end. They just, the general fucking storyline, everybody fucking knew, And some things are coming out now that are really wildly different that people are just eating the fuck up. Jessica Jones, I love that one because I practically never had any idea what's going to happen next. Like they would do that part on hers where like, yeah, she's down, she's obviously losing, blah, 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 let's feel bad for her, she's probably fucked. And then the next episode, they would pile drive her ass another fucking 10 feet. That bitch would hit rock bottom and then start digging through the rocks, like this shit just didn't stop, So that's interesting. I think what DC needs what DC needs to do is go out and study these successful fucking movies and figure out what they're doing wrong, rather than just taking generic things and hoping they'll fucking piece it together into a blockbuster again. So I think they could right the ship. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they even understand how to start pushing this thing.
Now, the reason I asked you guys that question, since I got you guys here, is because I think I've nailed down what it is. And it's not just me. It was actually Slow Chemical who brought the idea up. And I've kind of been looking around and paying attention. And I think he was 100% right, which is DC, as opposed to Marvel, is entirely flying by the seat of their pants. Entirely. Everything they do is reactionary. They have yet to do something on screen which shows deep and long forethought. Yet, everything seems to be reaction. And I'm starting to get little hints of it here and there. For example, like Slow Chemical conveniently brought up, in the first Iron Man movie, when Nick Fury comes out, everybody's excited that it was Nick Fury. What a lot of people don't know is Nick Fury, in the comic books, before he ever showed up on screen, was modeled after Samuel L. Jackson. So the amazing thing to see Samuel L. Jackson come out, that's why there was no doubt, no hesitation when he came out that he was Nick Fury. Nick Fury in the comics is modeled after Samuel L. Jackson way before he was ever put on screen. That shows an insane amount of somebody went, hey, we kind of modeled him after Samuel L. Do you think we can get him? Somebody went, okay, let's go look for him, talk to Samuel L., make a deal, get him on board. Whereas an example is with the Suicide Squad movie. They were talking about the Suicide Squad movie was going to be dark and whatnot, but there are now a whole bunch of news sources coming out saying there's a lot of reshoots to add more comedy to the Suicide Squad movie because, as it turns out, their trailer was so fun and entertaining that it let you think it was a humorous movie when it's actually really dark. So they had to do a whole bunch of reshoots to make it humorous. Or even in the smaller moments. At the end of the Batman v Superman movie, let me ask you a question, Slow Chemical. Did you stay till the very end of the trailer? Of the movie?
Yeah.
Very end of the credits?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing. In something that is now like a superhero comic book staple, DC did nothing. That would have been a great moment for DC to do what Marvel does so well, which is slowly tease you with the next thing. They don't leave you hanging, but they let you know, hey, more is coming with good stuff. Like right now, even at the end of Batman v Superman, we have no idea what that movie is going to follow up through. No idea what it's about. We've watched the movie, we're comic book fans, and we still don't understand the dream sequence that happened in that movie. Whereas in the Marvel movie, I've said it repeatedly, I still think Iron Man 3 is by far the worst Marvel movie ever, even though I like it. And a lot of people give me grief for it, but the reason I hate it is not because it's a bad movie. It's a fine movie. It's just they took 3 amazing Iron Man storylines and jumbled them into one hot mess. That each of those storylines individually would have been awesome. They took Armory Wars. They took what was that thing that they were injecting in her?
Yeah, but you're talking about that movie's horrible. I'm sorry, it's horrible.
Extremis, yeah, I thought it was horrible. But I know a lot of comic book fans that love that movie. I thought it was horrible again because of the storyline. But at the end of the movie, guess what? they gave me a reason to be invested again in it. They gave me a conclusion to that movie and a reason to be invested. Where at the end of the Superman, Batman movie, who the hell is Flash? Who the hell is Aquaman? Like, what were those dream sequences about? What is this, like, logical superhero doing, having all these spiritual feelings? It's all over the place. It's a scattershot. So my theory is for DC to right the ship, for them to have any chance to right the ship. It won't be with Suicide Squad. It has to be with one of the main movies, either Wonder Woman or Flash or Aquaman or all that. They need to give what Marvel has done consistently. They need to give a sense of direction. Just let all the fans know we're heading somewhere. Now, we're just kind of making this up as we go along. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that's what they're going to need to do to right the ship. That being said, I don't have a multi-million-dollar movie production company. I don't have screenwriting credits on movies. I don't even have decent essay writing credits in school. So,
well, see,
take all that with
I hate hearing that, and I told Cole Conscious the other day when we were on the phone. I said, there's certain things I'm gonna stop saying. It's one, you know how a lot of times when we talk and we're like, and a lot of times when we do these podcasts, we're like, well, we're really nobody. We're just doing this. I'm somebody. Screw you. If you have an opinion, you're too scared to put it out there. That's your fault. That's not mine. That's your fault. I'm somebody. That's why you're listening to me. That's why you find me funny. That's why you find me entertaining. I'm awesome. So I'm gonna stop saying that, first of all. Second of all, you don't need to have screenwriting credits or any kind of credits to have a legit opinion, because it's clear from what Alone in the Dark's been saying, and we've been saying, he's just said it in the whitest way possible. I've been cursing him about the whole thing. Is, hey, you know, Hollywood, wake up. It's okay for somebody to call you on your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, prime example. When I write stuff, I send it to one guy or whatever. I say, hey, just tell me what you think about it, giving you the blunt truth. You know what I'm saying? Why do you want people to lie to you? Because look here, I don't want to be lied to. I want my best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you can take. People say take it with a grain of salt. No. You're gonna take it with a Jersey Mike's sub. That's how much credibility I got. It's a 12-inch. You know what I'm saying? It's an 18-inch. That's how much credibility I got. So you take that and put it all in your mouth, because I'm legit. Just because you might feel that way about yourself doesn't mean a daggone thing to me.
Jersey Mike's got 18 inches?
I don't know. I'm just talking trash now. But at the end of the day, you get my point. Like, end of the day, look here. It's okay to say some movies were horrible. You know, like in the Iron Man 3. The reason why I say it's a horrible movie is because what you said. Why would you bungle up? One, you bungled up one of the greatest Iron Man villains there is and made him a parody, like it's a Marlon Wayans movie. Then you bungle up 3 different, like, storylines. Let me say something. I went into that movie with my sister and Renee. By the time we left, my sister looked at me and said, so, the book, because I gave her the Extremis book before we went in. And the funny thing is, she came out and said, I thought this was about that. I said, I don't know. Let's get some more popcorn and go home. That's all I can say to her.
That part is, again, the one thing that annoyed me the most. If they had just stuck with one story, that movie could have been amazing. If they wanted to do the thing where he gets rid of the armory, they could have done Armory Wars. That would have been amazing. If they wanted to stick with the thing where he needs to evolve or die, they could have done the Extremis by itself. That would be amazing. If they want to do, hey, everybody that has challenged Tony Stark is broke but a genius, let's get him challenged by a genius who is rich and isn't only rich, he's not just dipping into science because he's a genius, he's dipping into magic too. Some shit Tony Stark has no idea about and no control over. One of the funnest storylines me and Slow Chemicals have talked about before is there's a fantastic storyline for the Fantastic Four. Didn't mean that thing there. But there's an amazing storyline by the Fantastic Four where Reed Richard, who's considered like a genius who comes up with all these, you know, multiple universe theories and crazy machines that do amazing things, he finally gets in a situation where the only way to save his family is he has to rely on magic and faith, the one thing he has no faith in. But to save his family, the villain puts him in a predicament where he now has to admit, even though I'm a genius, even though I can fix anything on planet Earth, I don't know shit. And I have to have faith and admit that to myself, that there are things in this world I don't understand for me to be able to defeat this person. Amazing storyline. Found the weakness in this character that we thought had no other weaknesses and put it in an interesting way. But I don't know. It's either way, I'll be watching.
And the only thing I'll say about Fantastic Four before we go is not even the last movie, but I find it funny how people were mocking the first two movies. I didn't mind them mainly because one, at least they were kind of consistent with the story, like especially the second one. That's an actual storyline where they get married, and that's that's really the first appearance ever of the Silver Surfer. So to see the Silver Surfer, and I believe it was James Earl Jones voicing him, that was awesome.
Yeah.
But no one talks about everybody just bashing it because it wasn't whatever. But I guarantee you watch that last Fantastic Four and you see whatever that
Those original movies that we used to think were a little too cartoony are starting to look awesome. It would be like looking back on the Tim Burton Batman as like that was a really good serious movie.
Here's an example of the fucking bullshit that Hollywood's doing, just like Slow Chemical is saying. I don't know how much Zack Snyder was paid for Batman vs. Superman, but this is one of his quotes. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. That's the wrong one. There we go.
The thing I was surprised about in response to Superman was how everyone clings to the Christopher Reeves version of Superman.
This is the person they paid untold millions to direct Man of Steel. Okay? I'm just so surprised how everyone clings to the Christopher Reeve version of Superman. And somebody, one of our great internet heroes, pointed out, maybe this is why, asshole. Greatest superhero movies of all time. Fucking Superman. Superman 2. Superman 2. Superman. It's not a fucking mystery, you idiot. The reason people cling to that is
because Superman.
that this is one of the best things they fucking did. You know? That's why people cling to it. It's not like they're just fucking reminiscing about the past or some shit. There's a fucking legit reason that of anybody to understand, maybe the director of Man of Steel should fucking understand that. This should not surprise you.
The polar opposite of that exact thing, Deadpool. The absolute polar opposite of that thought process and that behavior approaching a movie was Deadpool, where every single person on the project loved the project dearly. So much so, at least one of the actors we know, Ryan Reynolds, would argue and alter lines on script because he would go, this character wouldn't say that. To Ben Affleck's credit, supposedly he did a couple of things like that too with the Batman lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one last thing, I do want to alter something that's said in the review, is I don't find Superman to be boring. I found what they tried to do to him to be boring. Like, at the end of the day, once again, I need to stress this because I got tons of emails and I didn't respond back to any of them because I find all of you be idiots personally. But it's one of those things where I never once put my finger up and said it's the acting. No, I said it's the way they're being directed. We have to remember, just because they're the actor doesn't mean they have say in anything. Like as we discussed before on air, Marvel has told their actors you do not ad-lib at all. You do it as it is written. So Chris Evans has even said that. He said, I tried to do a couple things. They told me, no, that's not the way we want it. This is the way we want it. So who knows how they're being directed. Now, because Ben Affleck came in on the contract he has, it seems like he has a little bit more power than everybody. So I don't know how much power Henry Cavill has. But what Henry Cavill needs to do is, he needs to talk a little bit more. So he needs to show that, hey, it's more than just method acting, I guess the best way to say. But in the day, I never once waved my finger and said any of the acting was bad. No, I really do believe those actors went in there and just were told to do something, and they did it.
Yeah, and the way, and I don't know, maybe they're blocking from even that, but what I totally understand because Marvel is building a huge fucking thing, and they're not going to let it be ruined by one actor who maybe is focused too close on the current scene. You know what I mean? No, I understand you think this will sound good right now, but this might fuck this up 3 movies later. If you say this right now, if you do this right now, 3 movies later, this isn't going to make sense. But I think it totally, and hopefully this is the case, of an actor could go to the producer, the writer, and the director and say, hey, I have this idea. Can you guys check this and see if it's gonna work? If I'm able to, instead of just trying to fucking change the scene on the fly, talk to everybody. Talk to these people who are making, trying to build this huge universe of fucking movies, and make sure it'll hold up. Instead of just trying to fucking throw that shit together unbeknownst to anybody else.
All right. I think that wraps up my question. You guys ready for parting shots, or you want to do some more stuff?
I'm ready for parting shots. Fuck this goddamn shit.
All right. So, it's a little chemical. Got any parting shots, boss?
Repeat yourself, Alone in the Dark.
Slow chemical. Do you have any other parting shots, boss?
Not you, Jonathan. I want him to repeat himself. What he just said.
I think something about fuck this show, but
Here's the thing. With Tim saying that, I said this on I don't know which episode. It was like the last episode I did of Why Repent. Because I seen something. This is why I'm never on Facebook, by the way, because it's funny. Because I have a couple people who are fans who, friends on Facebook. So I was sitting there and they had seen this post, and I had seen this post as well of Alone in the Dark, and I said, Jonathan Esther and Alone in the Dark are here bringing Jim and C to Wire Pen. First of all, here on my show. First of all, if you're saying F your own show, how much legitimacy can you bring to my show if you're coming from or to disagree? Here's the thing. Then he said it so seamlessly, and he didn't even try to hide it under his breath. Like, he's getting that cold conscious bad, where it's just doesn't even matter anymore. Life is just what it is, and I'm just gonna take it. I got no part in the shot. I just find it to be funny though.
This is how wars are started. So, Alone in the Dark, you got any parting shots, boss?
No, there is no war. As far as I'm concerned, I'm Marvel, you guys are DC.
That's cold-blooded, man. That's cold-blooded.
It's pretty cold-blooded. Any parting shots, Alone in the Dark?
My parting shot is congratulations to the lady who apparently got rid of cold conscience. You made a wonderful decision for your life, and totally supported by the show. So you have a wonderful life, lady.
Not before she got thoroughly molested by him. Not before.
Yeah, but
pawed her down.
Before she got pregnant by him. So my view, she fucking got out with her life in hand.
It's a win. My parting shot goes to WrestleMania. Thank you, WrestleMania, for giving me a match that you hyped up for weeks on end with a chainsaw and a barbed-wired baseball, and then using none of them and making it the shortest match of the night. Thank you, WrestleMania.
Damn.
That was great.
Well, here's the thing. On both of your parting shots, before y'all go, one, anybody who could make it through WrestleMania, you probably deserve to be back to the future and go back to when you were born and get your life all over. Almost a 5-hour WrestleMania. Jesus Christ, folks. That was too long, one. Two, here's the funny thing. People are complaining about that. I did not expect Brock Lesnar, a part-time wrestler, to get hit with a baseball bat or a chainsaw. So for you guys believing that, Mr. McMahon has once again done his job. He screwed you. Third, Cold Conscious. On that note, I'm gonna let him tell the story himself. No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell the whole story himself. Here's the thing, though. On this one, I can't blame him for the girl leaving. She clearly has some daddy issues that he needs to be away from her. But where it was his fault was whenever I text him, and I text him I've texted all of you guys enough. You guys know I don't speak text message lingo, right? If I do it, I'm mocking you guys. I don't do LOL, I don't do LMG. I was mocking him when I said the term bee stings. I was mocking him. I don't even speak that way. Dude, I'm 31 years old. I'm too old to be talking that way. I don't care. So for him to go off and see my text and think it's cool to tell a female this, I don't know what to say you, bruh.
That was kind of our problem when that story originally emerged, because we're like, wait, Cold Conscience. What in the world? Listen to the term you use, bee sting. How is that positive in any way, shape, or form? Like, just listen. It would be like me saying, "Ah, you got that barbed wire pussy." What? It doesn't matter if it means that your pussy is tight and fantastic. That is a terrible turn of phrase to use in conversation. It's awful. It's
And
awful.
especially with a woman you're just getting with. Once you're with her for a while, you can get away with some shit, you know? But right then, when you guys are still sorting things out, no.
And I told him, I said,
I will admit, you are absolutely right, Slow Chemical. That in the end, even though he was an idiot for doing that, I still think he should have got some before this happened. So I think he's an idiot in that regard. But even if he's an idiot, he did dodge a bullet if the term bee stings is what makes a girl pack, not just pack up and leave, but the way she did it too was through text message and no more responding. Yeah, we're all 15 years old again. Don't talk to me anymore. La, 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 la. Get the hell out of here.
well, see, here's the funny thing about it, and I told Cold Conscious this. I said, you have to remember, Cold Conscious, you are a kid. Me, Alone in the Dark, and Jonathan Esther treat you as an adult, but you are still a spoiled brat. Like, I told him that, seriously. I said, dude, you forget that. I said, no, seriously, I'm not trying to be funny. I said, dude, because we treat you like an adult doesn't mean you're one. We still, I think we can all agree, we still know he's very much a kid. So a lot of times when he's talking to me, like he might be complaining about what's going on out there, or he might be doing this. I'm like, dude, you do realize, right? Because here's the funny thing. I'll say this. I know I keep saying this. I said this to him. I said, dude, you do realize the only reason you don't like the fact that, you know, Jonathan Esther's wife is saying this, or the homie's girl is saying this, because you ain't got nobody, right? That ain't it. If I get my girl dog, it's gonna be on. I'm like, all right. Got this girl, made her mad one night, couldn't go to sleep because I couldn't believe I made her mad, dog. I couldn't go to sleep. I called him up just to laugh him out because he didn't go to sleep. This dude was texting me from 3 a.m. my time until I went to work at 7 a.m. my time, which means you guys what 3-4 hours behind me.
3 hours, yep.
So that's what almost 6 hours or between 4 and 6 hours of him. I can't go to sleep, dog. I can't believe I did that. Dog, go to sleep. But you tough though, right?
I haven't told him anything yet because I'm waiting for him to bring one of these conversations to me. So I haven't told him anything. But I've heard here and there, like I listened to the Why Repent podcast where he was going off and all that. And I'm waiting for him to finally come and talk to me for me to let him know, you know, let's say you're right about everything you say about my wife and the house and all that. You understand if my wife ever hears you using any of these terms you're using, your ass is done in that house, right? No more free showers, no more free food. You're just going to be outside. Like, she is kind of letting you have fun here and enjoy the environment, regardless of how awful it is. You don't really have options here. So maybe you shouldn't badmouth the person kind of giving you the free stuff that you get to enjoy. But then again, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying maybe not shit where you eat.
Here's the thing, though. This is what I tell him. This is what I tell him all the time. And you need to stop telling him this. I said, dude, you are wrong. I said, dude, you have to remember this, dog. They don't want you there. And I wouldn't want you there either. It's like me living in a whole neighborhood full of Paula Deans. I'm the only black guy. You come strolling in. Nah, dog, you competition. You gotta go. So what you talking about, dog? You coming in here, you ruining their mood. I said, dude, I tell him all the time, I said, dude, you are wrong. He told me a story today. I'm not even going to tell a story on air. He said something to your wife's sister. I said, you can't say that out loud. You can think it. You can't say it.
I'm waiting for him to finally overstep the bounds.
He's not going to. You know why he's not going to? You know why he's not going to, right?
Why not?
Because he's stupid, he's cheap, and he's not. Trust me. What he's gonna do is he's one of those people. He's gonna walk up to the line. He's like, "Yeah, dog, I gotta go home anyway. I gotta go to work tomorrow."
So what you're saying is all of 7 foot tall baseball star Cold Conscience is really a chihuahua.
I tell him all the time. I said, dude, you are the biggest coward of all of us. We just treat you like a man. You have to remember that, dog. Like I told me, forget the dog. You talking to people who live on the streets, who had to fight to live. You ain't gotta do none of that, dog. You know what I'm saying? People have been working out here since they've been 9 to 10 years old. You ain't nobody. I tell them all the time. And, his response when he first got to California was, they better make something happen. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
It's fair. That's fair. We'll wait for him to get on the show for the proper beatings.
No! Trust me. I'm not even gonna be on that show because I've called him up at least 4 or 5 times since he's been out there. I just laugh. For like 10 minutes. He stays on the phone. As I get my laugh out, I run out of breath and hang up. That's it.
That shit reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit where he's supposed to be Nat King Cole in the old days, and he's just spraying champagne all over this chick's tits. And then when he's done, he walks to the camera, he's like, "We sip on the best Don P." End of scene, he's gone.
I need to beat him down because it's not. Trust me, I give him enough beat down when he starts talking. It ain't for me. It's not worth it. But I will actually watch that episode that he comes on and tries to talk all the trash he talks. Dude, Cole Conscious, I told him his Why Repent card has been revoked. That black card, he's in the red now.
You heard it here first. Cole Conscious, black and Why Repent card thoroughly revoked.
He could be on the show. He's no longer a host though.
All right, let's wrap this up, man. This has been Dare to Disagree. Tune in next week, same bad time, same channel. I've been your co-host, Jonathan Esther.
Yes, Little in the Dark. Make sure you guys check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud. What is the other one? Fucking Spotify. Wait,
No,
Spotify?
not Spotify. We're on Stitcher. Sorry.
Stitcher, that's right. Yeah, Stitcher. And you guys might want to check out that fucking Why Repent show, man.
Look here. The only way you want to check out, the only reason you want to check out Dare to Disagree is because the legitimate show, the Marvel show, compared to the DC show, is Why Repent. I'm gonna do it again. So I mean, the only reason you want to check out Dare to Disagree, or Boy Disagree, as I call it. So it's all good.
That's been the show, y'all. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about evolution and why it's real. It's real.
Oh, Jesus. There goes all our fucking viewers. Bye.
Welcome.